Peace. This is Star with the Star Blooms. So, y'all forgive me. I ain't really apologizing. It's like sometimes when it's needed, it's needed. You know. Yeah. Um. I do inner child healing sessions. The reason why I started doing inner child healing sessions is because I recognize the more that I researched, the more I felt like the way that I was doing it wasn't necessarily like right. And then I had the opportunity of like being in this space where it kind of forced me to figure out what my way was, because it was like basics was given, but so much could be gathered based off of what you make out of something, you know. And a lot of the times we don't be having permission. It's a lot of things that we aren't aware that we don't have permission for, especially when dealing with like the inner child and having been through certain experiences and living in a rate to where you desire to be beyond these spaces and you want what's there for you in them. There's not really a lot of like details on how to like, do it, but it's a lot of amazing techniques that we get to use. So I do them, and for me, I call them sessions, and they're like encounters that you have with rates of yourself, wherever you might need to find you at, remember you at, speak you up, so to speak, sit in the mirror with, right? Um, in these sessions, you're being called to listen, hold space, and act, right? And I be going through it with my clients, you know, each opportunity that I have to experience a different rate of showing up and holding space for someone else is basically because I'm being given the opportunity to show up and see myself at a different rate. And so to like graduate, you know, um, ascend to a deeper perspective, just because you're walking through it and you're in the motion of whatever it is that you're speaking versus finding something and pasting it. I'm saying all this to say I've been dealing with the word permission. And the reason why I've been dealing with the word permission is because of the rates of access that we either give or that we live in. Specifically for me, because I'm, a woman, the womb, and having been through um, molestation and different rates of, being taken advantage of at such a young age, living in spaces where I didn't have what I would say is like a choice. There's rates where permission wasn't given. And it's so crazy how spirit will give us the opportunity to show up with ourselves and to just be free in this space. I've been trying to understand what else was there that I could basically receive for myself, um, in living in this space, because I faced myself and, so I'm sitting here and I have the opportunity of seeing a lady speak on her journey over to Egypt and how they decided to go down to like their sarcophaguses. They were looking, basically in a tomb. So they weren't like in just a public space. They were going deep further off track, off of the course, and somebody was basically guiding them down there. But they were almost like they were going by themselves. And she said that they got to a certain rate where they get to a door, and she felt the presence, and it's almost like it's just like it stopped. She couldn't see anything, but she said that she could feel it, and she just felt it, and it's almost like it stopped her. The people coming up from behind her, however, seen someone, and she says that she was waiting for. It's a narrow pathway. You got to think about it. It's like ancient, stairwells and stuff like that. So it's just a narrow pathway. So it's like everybody's taking their time walking, so on and so forth. They have video footage of this as I'm watching them speaking about my experience watching it, as she's also telling her story on top of like her showing the video of it. They could see something. She could feel it. She couldn't see it. And she just basically calmly stopped because there was no way that she could even get through the door because she just felt like a block just came in front of her. And she's like, I come in peace. I mean, no harm. She's like, I come in peace. And she started to walk throughout the rest of her experience, acknowledging, speaking to the energy of the space that she had came upon. She's, saying you didn't give me permission to be here, but I come in peace, and this is who I am, this is where I'm from, this is my intention here. You know, this is so powerful for me because spirit woke up in me an understanding that I needed to have. A lot of the times when we're dealing with our womb, you guys, as women, and I think it's called the lingam, a ligum. I'm not sure for men. That eternal space that kind of sits down there, I believe so, or I'm not sure. Don't give me the line. But with it being a portal, the womb, and yeah, it's like an access of entry point. A lot of the times we don't know how personal we can get with that space by being at a rate of acknowledging, you know, all that is within us, that lives with us, that keeps us, all that has happened, like our journey, our experience, and just being at a rate to where you recognize allowed rates of access and permission, even in how you are dealing with yourself, how you are speaking, thinking, operating, tending to being over yourself, right? And it's so much more. I feel like I'm just like permission. It's an idea that you have, but it's like it's contractual, like it's an agreement at the same time. It's not necessarily needed. The concept of it, however, is something that is agreed upon, and because of it, it creates this harmonious environment, this space that allows you to be in a radius with yourself that is yummy. And sometimes we don't give ourselves the God honest truth, like just the opportunity to just be at a certain rate with ourselves, to love ourselves differently, to see ourselves differently, just by showing up, even in meditation, even in how you are in your ask, in your request, in your manifestation, in your connection to what it is that you're desiring, in your connection into what it is that you are doing, right? Um, your proximity. I feel like that's a whole nother space, and that's gonna be too much. But yeah, yeah. Be at a rate to where you allow yourself to show up differently in the spaces where you feel like there may have been missteps, and resurrect a newness in that space where you allow the truth to be what's like resonated. Allow the tears to be the foundation, be permeated, so you can get residuals in the space that you invest in, especially if it's for you, when it's for you, so it'll be for others. I love y'all. I hope that this finds y'all well. Peace.